You are now listening to the Lexicon podcast. Now, let the show begin.
Welcome, everybody, to the Lexicon podcast, episode number 9, or number 9, as people like to say in the good old US of A. Now, we are having some technical difficulties still. So, we are actually using one mic for, well, pretty much 3 or 4 of us. So, please pardon the sound on this podcast. I will try my best to fix it before the next podcast with the actual video from the camera. You know, if anything, I could just, if you guys could just convince my wife to let me buy another computer.
Or, just give us money.
I mean, we have a Patreon app.
Or you guys can also go to patreon.com/exclusivelex so you guys can support us month to month. Obviously, these episodes are free, but you can actually get them early if you support us there. And, let us get on with it with the best equipment that we can. But, again, no rush, no push. But Christmas is coming, and I can give you a wish list if you want. As always, I have with me my lovely wife, as you can see.
Hi, everybody.
And then I have next to her, I have...
Oh, me, Angie.
And next to her, I have...
It's Luis.
So, if somebody sounds a little bit more distant than others, again, don't forget, it's 4 of us around one mic. So it's kind of fun.
Just think of that 70s show.
Except that we're not doing anything illegal.
Nothing
No,
bad,
we're
but we're
not.
all sitting down around.
Like, this time for real, we're not doing anything illegal.
We never do anything illegal.
Oh.
Andrew?
It's too early.
I know,
It's
I'm like,
too
it's
early.
Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. How
Oh,
dare
yeah.
we?
And then we normally record on a Friday, so we're normally a little bit more awake. This is early Sunday morning. Again, it's been a long Thanksgiving weekend. So I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving weekend if you guys are in the US of A. If not, I hope you guys just had a good weekend overall. So, with that said, let's go ahead and pick the first topic. It's going to come out of the hat.
Who's going to pick from the hat?
Who's never picked?
Luis is never picked.
Alright, let's do this. Oh, crap. That's Millennials versus everyone.
Yay! My topic.
So the topic is called Millennials versus Everyone. Now, for those of you who don't know where Millennials are pretty much, where they start or where they're based off, is anybody born after 1980 to 2000, right?
Yeah.
You're looking it up right now, just to make sure.
I believe I'm correct.
A person reaching young adulthood around the year 2000.
Yeah, so 2000 is the latest. I think they have to be born in 1980 or like 1989. Like, I think 1980 is where they're supposed to be born as far as like the millennial structure.
Early 1980s.
Okay.
And ending birth years ranging from the mid-90s to the early 2000s. So everyone here is a millennial.
Yes, everybody here is a millennial. If you're born before the 80s, you're not a millennial. If you're born after the 2000s.
Generation Y?
The Generation Y is after the millennials. Generation X is before the 80s. And then before the 60s and 70s are the baby boomers. Anyway, those are, the things like that. So all of us here are considered millennials. Now, I just read an interesting article saying that millennials are watching less sports. There's many articles about millennials and things that we're not doing, and a lot of stuff about what we are doing. So we're gonna talk about a little bit of both. I want to talk real quick though about how was it CBS that had the Olympics, or who had the Olympics? NBC had the Olympics. So NBC had the Olympics, right? They paid for the rights to show the Olympics, and then they blamed millennials for the fact that they had low ratings. They didn't actually bother to blame themselves for the fact that they had horrible schedules, no live Olympics, everything was repeatable or 3 hours late, or you couldn't find it on a to-go app, like you pulled up their Olympics app or whatever.
Nothing was on there.
Nothing was on it, you couldn't see anything, nothing was scheduled properly. Or let's say a game was supposed to be on, or like, some kind of event, and they wouldn't schedule the event. They just had the whole Olympic block, and they wouldn't tell you at what time what event started. And again, it wasn't really live, so you really couldn't see it. So let's talk on that real quick. Businesses choosing to blame millennials for their downfalls instead of them upgrading and pretty much improving themselves to what people now call cord cutters. Like, what do you guys feel about?
Cord cutters? What's cord cutters? Explain.
So cord cutters are people who no longer choose to really subscribe to the old form of cable.
Okay.
They choose to buy apps like HBO on the go. Netflix obviously is a big proponent of that. There's Hulu. And stuff like that. And a lot of the TV apps nowadays for local channels have just apps, so you can just watch the shows on. Mm-hmm. And of course, like you don't no longer have to have HBO on cable in order to watch HBO. You just watch HBO Go. Showtime has an app and stuff like that. So instead of choosing to buy a whole cable package, they just choose to buy apps separately. So cord cutters, and the fact that NBC again didn't choose to really have anything on their app, which is ridiculous because again, a lot of people are on the go, a lot of people work, so that's how they choose to consume their content. So with us being cord cutters, I mean, do you guys have cable?
No, never had it. Like in my young adult to adult years, I had it like for 2 years when I was a kid, and then my dad was like, "This is garbage," so we got rid of it.
The only reason that we have cable, and the only reason that my wife can be a testament to this, that I have cable, is sports. DirecTV makes it really difficult to kind of get a sports package, but like Time Warner Cable or like Spectrum, whatever nowadays, they have a sports pass. Before, when it was Time Warner Cable, it was $8.99 for a sports pass, which was pretty much all soccer channels, NFL Red Zone, NFL whatever, HBO, baseball, NHL, anything you wanted to watch, $8.99 a month, and you had it all, which is beautiful. But you can only get that through a cable package. If you didn't want to, you have to get everything separately. Like Fox Sports was like $20 a month, and then ESPN was its own thing, and then beIN Sports is now a new thing. It was all ridiculous to get it. So it was actually cheaper to go with the cable route. So that's the only reason we have cable, just because I love watching sports. But a lot of companies nowadays, they choose to kind of blame millennials for the aspect, or they kind of say millennials don't own houses and stuff like that, and millennials don't do this, or millennials are lazy, but they choose to ignore the fact that the economy is worse than it was before. Housing market is honestly terrible, especially in California, like in big states. I'm not talking about the states where you can buy a house for $200,000. I'm talking about California, especially where we live, where a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown LA is going to cost you like $400,000. So I mean, what do you guys want to talk about, or what do you guys want to go ahead as far as testament to those people that think millennials are to blame for a lot of this nowadays?
In the workplace, I mean, I don't really want to talk about personal. I'm still gonna do it anyway. Just in the workplace, simply in the workplace, working with a generation gap population is pretty interesting, and at the same time very frustrating, because they look at you like you're an idiot when you actually know a little bit more than they do. They're just resentful. At least that's how I see it.
Yeah, and that's not just where you work now. I mean, or
that's almost anywhere.
Anywhere you go, that's everywhere.
Yeah, and even just reading little articles and hearing the term millennial in news on a regular basis, seeing articles on the web on a regular basis regarding millennials and their impact on society, and it's as if like we are the doomed generation, and it doesn't make sense because it happens every generation.
It really does. And I mean, I get that too, because like I always get the comment, "Oh my God, you're so young, and we're in the same job," and I'm like,
yeah,
that's not my problem, that's yours.
Yeah,
like
that's exactly what I mean. That's that generation gap where they look at you like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "What are you doing here? If I'm here, what are you doing here?"
Yeah, and then
it can go both ways.
My favorite thing that people talk about is the fact that before people had what people call brand loyalty, but now people call work loyalty, like where they choose to stay with the same company for 10, 20 years. And I get that. I get that people stay there, but the thing is nowadays a lot of jobs don't, again, it's especially in California, it's all overpopulation, so the fact that a lot of promotions aren't available because people do not quit or people do not move on. They choose to stay placent, and they choose to kind of say, "Hey, I'm going to stay where I'm at because I'm comfortable." Mm-hmm. And then there's people like me who I don't feel comfortable if I'm not moving up, if I'm not promoted. Again, I'm considered technically young in my work field, and I'm in a new work field as well, but I'm choosing to move like every 2 years. Like, hey, I've shown you my strengths, I've shown you what I can do, and you choose to, instead of say, "Hey, how can we help you get promoted, or how can we help you grow?" You choose to say, "Here's more work, you're doing well, stay where you are, but do more for us."
Yeah. And
it's like, I'm not getting anything out of it. My raise isn't adequate to what I'm getting. Like, it seems like I'm complaining, but the thing is, I know the work I'm putting forward, and I've always asked, what kind of things can I do to learn more, to grow within the company myself, and the fact that there's no room to do what's called an upward movement. It's just lateral promotions, which different title, but literally the same pay grade, the same, like within the same scope of technically what you are. Mm-hmm. Doesn't feel like it's it's rewarding enough. You know, they always say work harder, work for what you want. And you try that and it doesn't seem to give any fruition. And I've moved within company, like, you know, for every 2 years, I'm usually with a new company. That seems to be my trend. But that's because the new companies I'm moving to are giving me a promotion or getting a pay raise, or I'm getting upgraded as opposed to just staying there and staying with the same pay and staying with the same comfortable situation. And it's like, it doesn't make sense to me to do that. Mm-hmm. So I know a lot of millennials, or, you know, people my age that do that. And you try to get a better situation, and then there's people above you that will say, no, I like you where you are because you do more work and I do less.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, I'm doing more work, but you're supposed to kind of reward that at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
pull your own weight or reward it.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't make sense that... I had a conversation with somebody when I was in another job, and they wanted me to do more work, and I was already doing a lot more work than I was supposed. That was technically what they call your job description. You know, there's your job description, which is the flexible. Hey, these are your requirements for your job. You know, when you start your job and everything like that, right? So you do that, but then obviously, if you want to grow, you start doing more. You want to learn more. You start doing more yourself, putting in overtime and stuff like that. But then this person wanted to give me more work as opposed to the extra work that I was already doing, and I said, well, sure, I'd be glad to do that, but can you let me know when we can sit down and talk about monetary compensation? When can I get a raise? You know, like, I don't want to ask for it this way, but I want to sit down with you, and it's been a year. I want to, you know, it's been a year. Normally you get raises, 2%, whatever, 3%, but I want to go above that because of the fact that I know what I'm worth. I know what other people do. I know what I'm doing. And she goes and she tells me, well, I didn't get a raise till such and such, blah, 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 blah. And I told her, and that's wonderful, and I get that. But the thing is, I understand what I'm worth.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't understand what you're worth. I'm saying you are a different kind of person. You choose to wait this long before you approach a situation and be not confrontational or aggressive, but you choose to understand what you're truly worth.
Yeah.
And I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm worth, so I want to sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say, hey, can you give me a raise before I do anything? No, I want to give you a plateau, and I want to prove to you that I know myself and that I know what I'm worth. So, obviously, this person didn't take it very well. And they're like, why are you going to talk to me about self-worth? And I was like, look, again, you chose to give me your comment, and I chose to tell you. Understand that you know what you're worth. Understand that I know what I'm worth. So we come from a different background. We come from a different situation. I don't work more unless I get paid more. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know? Because nowadays, internships are not free anymore. A lot of internships used to be just free internships and do what you want.
Yeah.
But if you start looking at the actual current market, a lot of them are paid internships.
They're paid, or if they aren't paid, it's still labor. It's not like what it used to be back in the day when people would reference like, oh yeah, you got an intern to get your coffee.
Yeah.
No, you got an intern to create your lesson plan. Do you have an intern to
do your portfolio,
do everything design, for you? It's pretty much hiring a personal assistant with no pay. That's pretty much what it is. And then in to touch on what you're talking about knowing what you're worth, and what I find is that employers, wherever they may be, they usually see that as retaliation.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what they see it as. They don't see it as like, okay, this person just wants to sit down and talk about, you know, their own living situation and how they feel like they deserve what they're getting. They see it as retaliation no matter what. And then they start dismissing it as, oh, it's because they're a millennial. Or ultimately that's why I chose this topic, because I've witnessed it. I've been there. I know what it's like, where they're like, oh, well, they're a millennial. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, really, what the fuck does that mean? And then the funny thing is, though, that usually when that happens, and I've been a witness to it, they'll be like, no, but we're not talking about you. And I'm like, you fucking are. I'm still here. Like, I don't care if you think better of me, which I get. I am really proud of the fact that people don't see me that way. But at the same time, I'm like, you don't understand. Like, there's still certain parts of me that are a millennial, even though at work I am not. So I still take very much offense to it.
Yeah, because it's a whole generalization of obviously age and year you were born and everything. But the thing is, like, when the funny thing to me is I've never really heard that term until within the last 3-4 years.
It became a big deal.
Which is crazy because when I first heard the word millennial, I thought they were talking about people who were above, born after the year 2000.
Yeah.
I honestly did not think that they were talking about generation from like 80s to 2000s. I was like, what? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, everybody. I thought everybody was understanding, baby boomers will be the first ones to tell you, and thanks, we had a high school teacher who said, thank you, you're paying for my Social Security.
Yeah.
And after I'm done, after baby boomers are done, Social Security might not exist because of the fact that the way financially everything is going, that bank is going to be drained. Yeah. It's going to be drained to hell. So the fact that they're saying, hey, you're lazy, hey, you're not able to afford these, you don't have your own house, you're living with your parents, blah, 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 blah. It's like, have you seen the current economic structure around you? Have you seen the current, generations? If you want to say it that way, have you seen the current generations doing the same thing that everybody does and fighting against the younger generation and not trying to give them those advantages? And it doesn't make sense to me that you're not going to give your children those advantages that you said, as a parent, I want to give my child every advantage they can, but you turn that around and you say, you know what? No, they're lazy. No, they don't want to work. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. And the economic structure has been destroyed, one, because of the housing market. Two, the way that every kind of business is being run and leaving the United States and going to another country. It means that there's no work here for other people, so they have to expand to a different culture and a different line of work, which then makes it start again from the beginning. Yeah. How can there be company loyalty? How can you stay with a company for 10, 20 years if the company does not want to stay with you for 10, 20 years?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. As soon as the economy turns around, guess who the people are going to fire? Some people they like to do different situations that, people talk about in statistics. Last in, first one out. Mm-hmm. So it's like, what does that mean? That means that the last person that was hired, aka the new hire, is going to be the first one out. Yet there's people who are already of retirement age that are still working. I'm sorry, you could be let go. Or, hey, here's your severance package. Have a good day. Have a good life. But no, they're still working, not doing really anything at that point. I mean, obviously everybody's in different situations.
Yeah.
But they're past the point where they don't need that money. Or they should have saved that money.
Or they're bored.
And
they're just working.
I cannot tell you about all the people that I know that are working part-time just for health benefits. Mm-hmm. That should not be working.
Yeah.
But because it's cheaper to get health benefits. I get it. It's cheaper to have health benefits, this way than it is another way. But those are jobs that other people could be getting, but they're not moving out of the way or doing it. Now, I'm not saying that's the only answer, but I'm saying that's something that we can look at.
That's something that obviously, I mean, it's just me and you primarily talking right now, but that's something that we've witnessed in our own, experiences. People just, there is loyalty, of course, there's from older generation, but there is loyalty, and then they're the ones that just sit there with their arms crossed and complain.
Yeah. I mean, let's not forget that the fact that there's no longer pensions being talked about anymore. Yeah. Like, pensions are a thing of the past. Like, what's a pension? I don't know. Yeah. And then they don't teach people like us, millennials. They don't teach us what a 401k is to a Roth 401k or a Roth IRA or a regular IRA. They expect you to say, nod your head and say, yes, I'll take whatever you give me, sir. Like, I'll take it. And
then when you ask for an explanation, they don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. I will not say what job it was that I had to talk to the HR person, and I asked them, do you guys have a Roth 401k option? They literally looked at me with their heads open, and the mouths open and their heads shaking, like, what the hell's a Roth 401k? Now, for those of you who don't know what a Roth 401k is or regular 401k is, 401k are you simply explained and thought about as retirement plans. Now, the thing is, when you have a 401k plan, they take away the money from your check before you pay taxes on it. So it hasn't been taxed yet. So when you do take out your money from the 401k, whatever age you are, most likely 65 when you're retired, when you take that money out, it's taxed at that age bracket at whatever annual income you make. That's the bracket that it's taxed at. Now, a Roth 401k is this. A Roth 401k is the same thing as a 401k, except that the money gets taken out after taxes. So you have your money, it's taxed, then the money comes out. So by the time you're 65 or by the time you want to take it out, you take that money out, guess what? No tax. That money is tax-free. It's already been taxed. And I'm not making, let's say, whatever, $100,000, $200,000 or whatever money I think I'm going to be making in the future. I'm making money now, so I'm being taxed at a certain bracket that is smaller, hopefully, than what I am being taxed at a later date. Mm-hmm. So that means that I'm paying less taxes now than I am in the future, which means that when I do take out my money, it's tax-free. I don't have to worry about it, and I can just take it out and say, hey, IRS is not going to come after me. They're not going to take away my retirement income. And it's grown a lot bigger than when it was before.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about that. And I honestly think if you have a 401k and you have a Roth 401k, do yourself a favor. Go for a Roth 401k, a Roth IRA. Get it taxed now. Forget about it in the future. Take out the money afterwards, and guess what? Don't have to worry about getting touched by the government.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about anybody touching your money. But people will look at me and say, you're an idiot. Why would you want to take it and get it taxed now as opposed to later? And that's the same reason. It's because later on, I don't want anybody to touch my money.
Yeah.
Like, simple as that.
You don't want to just go and then someone tell you, no, you can't do that because of this, and that. It's not. You're already old. Fuck it.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Jeez.
like, I mean, that's just in the workforce. And obviously, like, me and Angie are talking a lot about it because of the fact that it's maybe not something that we're currently experiencing, but something that we experienced before, and something that I'm pretty sure we're going to experience in the future because of the fact that in the current economical situation, we are the workforce. We are the technical, part-time, full-time, entry-level workforce, you know, that people want to say. But, I mean, what...
And if not, then there's still people that are our age that are still going to school.
Yeah.
Because it's better off to be in school than try and get a job.
Yeah, and that's how it always is. When the economy is in a bad turn, school attendance goes up.
Yep.
Why? Because it's cheaper. I want to say not cheaper. I want to say it's more economically viable to not work, get FAFSA or get some kind of government help and go to school, get a vocation or anything like that, get a degree, and then when you're done, find that job. But the problem is, you're not the only person doing that. So that entry level position that you're going to be looking for is going to be filled, or it's going to be a lot of challenges to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Where instead you can work and get that network and grow and try to improve yourself before you do that. Now everybody has different choices, so it's up to you how you want to do it. But again, you know, everybody goes to school. It's not just one person or the other. And then there's so many degrees nowadays that you can choose a business degree or a business administration degree or like a da-da-da. It's like it's
very specific.
It's very specific and it's very difficult. So I mean, that's just the workforce. I'm not sure how other ways you guys think. Like, I mean, we've talked about it. Me and my wife are looking into trying to buy a house, but we're like, we might have to move to another state.
Yeah.
You know, instead of living in California. But I don't want to leave California. I mean, do you, babe?
Me?
She wants to go to Indiana.
I don't know. I honestly don't mind moving. I don't mind it at all because it's a different experience. All in all, it's something different. The only thing that would suck is having to leave family behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's family of mine that have moved to Indiana. Cheaper living for better pay. My brother's practically making what I make here, and he's paying a house that he bought for $80,000.
It's a good house too.
And it's a good, 3-4 bedroom home, so it's like sometimes you gotta make the move to improve. My aunt that was the first one to actually move out there told me, she's like, I wouldn't have what I have here if I would have had stayed over there in California. She's like, over here she was renting a 2-bedroom apartment. They moved over there. She has her house paid. She has her car. Her kids, I hope they're doing good. I don't know, it's been years. But all in all, it's just sometimes you need to make a move in order to improve. By the way, I didn't know millennials. We were millennials. I thought that it all was like 1999, 2000s and up.
No, we're millennials.
The first time I heard it, I thought the same thing.
That's what I thought.
I know.
It's like, I've never heard the term. I always heard Generation X, Generation Y, and all these things. So I thought we were Generation X, as opposed to whatever age gap that is. And so I was the same way. Like, I always heard the term millennials, and I was like, I can't believe they're talking about people like that. Like, they're talking about the younger kids nowadays who are still in high school or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I decided to look up what millennials were, much like you did for the beginning of the podcast, and explain it to people. And I was like, holy shit, they're talking about me.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, that was outrageous.
Something that I've gone through that I found was like a complete fucking waste of time was a generational diversity training. And I was like...
I've never done it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was like... I already knew it was going to be a waste of time, but going in, and I was like, maybe it'll help. Maybe, like, people in our place of work will probably kind of, like, understand each other. And no, it was just a bunch of bashing on the millennials from the baby boomers.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, we were the ones taking it serious, like, trying to, like, identify and, just try and learn from each other. And they were like, no, no, you guys are too lazy, you guys this, you guys that, and then that's when we all started going into like, oh, well, thanks, because you're taking up all our Social Security, and you guys don't know how to move forward in technological ways. If you don't have us, you don't have a computer. That's the way that I was seeing it.
I mean, if they weren't there taking the space, then probably other people
exactly.
would have been there working.
Yeah. So that's something that I personally experienced, and that's when I really opened my eyes and going like, why are they fucking so mad at us? Like, we're just trying to I'm like, we're here, we're working. It's not like we're fucking out there being those few millennials that are really lazy and aren't doing anything with their lives. Which I personally don't know many of, so. I
really don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I do know and I don't know. I mean, the people who are like lazy and stuff like that is because, you know, they were fortunate enough that their parents were well off, that they chose to just go to school and fuck up and do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
And then those kids that, again, those people that went to school, I know many that go to school and work, and they work like, you know, drive-through jobs, or they work jobs that most people would consider classless or low-income jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Part-time.
And I mean, people who work in restaurants and drive-thrus like that, those are probably some of the hardest working people I know, because of the fact that they never stop working.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they can't get out of that structure because they don't know how. Sometimes. I'm not saying everybody does. So it's not a bashing towards that. It's more of a bashing of, when you go into a workplace, they expect you to know how to do the job as opposed to wanting to teach you how to do that job. Now, what that means is they don't want to hire a lot of people who don't know the job, because of the fact that they don't want to spend resources on somebody learning the job and then leaving. Mm-hmm. Again, this is where it's coming back to the same thing: company loyalty. A lot of these entry-level positions, as you look at them now, they want experience. But the thing is, how do you get experience if you can't find an entry-level job? And that's because a lot of companies don't want to spend resources on training somebody.
Yep.
And it's like, how do you expect people to be vocational? How do you expect people to grow? How do you expect people want to stay and say, hey, you know what? They taught me how to do this. I'm going to stay with this company because, one, there's way to grow. They taught me how to do this, and they're not afraid to put resources into my education in this field, which means I'm going to stay with them because of the fact that they did that. Some people, not everybody's going to do that. You know, some people will go in there, train, and leave. I get that. But there are people who will say, hey, I came into this company, and this company has showed me the ropes, has shown me how to do this, and they're giving me the choice to keep on growing within the company. I am going to be loyal to this company.
Yeah.
People are out there that will do that, but they're, again, afraid to do that. And I mean, that's just what I've seen. This is all opinion based, obviously. It's not factual because there's no facts that we have, there's no stats that we have, but it's not that hard to see. Like, you can see it everywhere. And
yeah.
It's the funniest thing because of the fact that, going back again to the NBC vocation and the NBC Olympics, where they chose to say millennials were the reason that our ratings were low.
Yeah.
Not our life schedule was crap. Not our app had no way of watching the live stream, when most people have a way of going on the go when they're at work, when they're, you know, out and about. You know, like, hey, if you want to charge for it, people would have more than gladly paid for Olympic, you know, a way to get exposed to this, to watch on your app. If you're gonna pay for a right to show this kind of, you know, a thing that obviously I think should be free. Olympics, yeah. I think should be shown to everybody. Why? It's a freaking sport for the country.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like
for the entire world.
Yeah,
it's
not like football that's only in the United States, or it's not like, hey, it's only United States. Baseball, it's not, hey, it's just NHL and USA. No, this thing is literally all the countries going together. Boxing, for God's sakes, is free. We pay people here, right? But it's free in freaking Mexico. You go to TJ and you can watch it on regular TV for free. So it doesn't make sense that you're going to take away the rights to Olympics and it's going to be on one network when it should be allowed and advocated to everybody. For me, it should have been on PBS. Yeah. For God's sakes. It should have just been free. Everybody could watch it because you want to root on your country. Like, you want to learn what it is. And if it's free to everybody, if it's able to be exposed to more people are going to want to train for it and want to do that.
Yeah.
But
they treated it like a primetime special. They didn't treat it like what it's supposed to be, as an all-around
24/7 live event.
Yeah,
you know, that's what it's supposed to be.
With inclusion of the history of the country of the host.
Exactly. Like,
And this one had like little snippets of like, oh, let's go see what restaurant they go eat at, and I'm like, no, like fucking teach me about your country.
Yeah, like
and they're
that's-
not doing that. The
that's-
NBC wasn't doing that
exactly.
at all.
That is prime time
Mm-hmm.
to learn about other countries and other cultures and understand. Every single person there could be a great movie story. Hey, this person struggled this much to,
Mm-hmm.
in, 4 years, 8 years. To they got injured the last Olympics.
They did
couldn't make
highlights
it,
that
you
we
know?
could see in a film. It was ridiculous. It's like we could have just paid to see a Hollywood movie based on this.
and then it would have been better shown anyway. It's like that's the
The
worst
story
part.
would have been elaborated.
So, I mean, for the fact that companies like that are choosing to say, "Hey, millennials are the fault," instead of saying, "Hey, within ourselves, we did not look as a company and did not structure this properly," that is really infuriating. Like, it's just it doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm not sure if you guys tried to watch the Olympics or if you guys even saw what it was, but there is no way to watch it. I mean, Brazil itself had the same thing where they were trying to watch like you could watch everything, but they were only showing Brazilian players, Brazilian Olympics, Brazilian athletes. Which is awesome. Hey, your Olympics are in Brazil.
Yeah.
We're only going to show Brazilians. That makes sense. That's your country. I get it. But in the U.S., you couldn't even see that. You couldn't even see your own country because of the fact that you don't know when it was up. You don't know what time it was live. And the fact that they say, hey, it's such and such happening right now, but it's actually another sport. Because of the fact that it was always scheduled incorrectly. And it didn't make sense.
Yeah, it wasn't thorough at all.
I work with millennials.
I know, that's why I turned. That's why I turned. I'm like, I'm waiting for you to speak up. You're the only one that has like a millennial job.
Yeah, like, well, because we don't see these problems like in the workplace, like at all. We don't. We just do our own stuff every day because we also work in a very creative field. So like we all just mind our business and work collaboratively, but we understand like everybody's work ethic there.
Yeah, but even your workplace environment, it's laxed.
What is what?
No one's locked up in a cubicle. No
Oh,
one's
yes.
locked up in an office, and no one's separated by a cubicle.
Yeah, it's like an open space. It's just imagine a big ass
Mess hall.
Oh yeah, mess hall, and there's just desks and tables for your laptops, and then we would just start working.
How does that feel?
Now it's like it's like comfortable because everybody just is available. Like everybody's available.
That's good.
It's like a big ass family. That's why I like it.
Yeah, because where it is that I where I used to work and places I work, they feel like the only way for you to get promoted is by your age difference and the fact that hey, maybe you've been here so many years or whatever, which I understand, but not just because somebody's been there for so many years. Are they going to know the systems better? Are they going to understand how to do the work better? Are they going to understand how to be a leader?
Yeah.
Like, that's always the craziest thing to me. Mm-hmm. Your age does not dignify how well you can lead. Your gender does not dignify how well you can lead. And for God's sakes, your educational experience does not define how well you can teach, lead, and train.
Yeah.
But people don't choose to look at that. I've seen that they don't choose. Like, I've been to places where I said, you know what, this place is not going to let me grow because they feel that my age is not adequate enough.
Yep.
Like, I've been told, you're too young. And it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if I'm able to go into a retail store and manage a freaking group of millennials or a group of kids or even people who are older than me, how does that not qualify me to be able to learn these things, train others, and understand your system better?
Yeah.
Like, how does that verify you to be able to tell me your age is what disqualifies you from being a leader? Like, I get that other people will look at me and say, hey, I'm older than you. Respect me. Respect your elders. That's the saying that goes. Like, I've had that. I've had that when people, hey, you're older than me. I shouldn't be paying attention to you. I've had a better job and had to downgrade to this job, and you're teaching me, and I've done better things than you. I get that. But I've also had that same person come back and tell me, I'm sorry. You do know how to do this job. You do know how to train, and you are right. I did need to learn this. So it's like the discrimination that is in the newspaper, discrimination that happens in the media, the discrimination that's happened everywhere, it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to
It
me
really
either.
doesn't. And the thing is, the funniest thing is...
They're complaining more about millennials and, like, millennials complain about anything else.
But that's the thing is, some of the people that are writing these things are now millennials about millennials
Yeah,
in the newspaper and the media. You know why? Because they want to keep the job.
they do.
And they know that the only way to get clicks and the only way to sell things is because in traditional newspaper, millennials don't really buy it. I get that. But make your website better.
It's also a hot topic, millennials, because no one really writes about it. And when someone writes about it, everybody
big
looks
deal.
at it.
Yeah.
Because they just want to know what other people are talking about millennials.
It's considered a trigger word. As
Yeah,
people
it
nowadays
totally
call it.
is.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Because it will spark up this conversation. It'll do what we're doing now, which, again, completely understandable. But when people turn what we're doing now, which is an opinion, into a fact, it's when it's honestly gets thrown out of proportions.
Like,
So-
I read this article a couple of months ago about this group of interns that were getting paid a stipend, mind you, and they wanted to do casual Fridays in this workplace. And so what they ended up doing that was getting a petition together and just, you know, bringing it up at a staff meeting, like, hey, we thought we might want to do casual Fridays. We went around the office, got all these signatures. Like, can this be open for discussion? And that group of interns that were considered by this article millennials were fired. They were let go because they were
Rebellious.
they were rebellious and they couldn't be distracting in the workplace. When they actually followed through, like, would they rather have them show up just like, I'm gonna say a Mean Girls reference, like an army plants and flip flops, or like did they want them to like ask for permission first?
Yeah.
You know, formally, like, look, hey, we went around. People think this might be a good idea. Could we talk about it? They were like, no, we don't want to talk about it. We're just gonna let you go. Yeah, that's better.
And I mean, that's the thing is too, like a lot of millennials nowadays, actually, what I've seen are some of the most respectful employees that you can have.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that they know that they're not being really listened to. So
Yeah, and they
think
know their place. They
and-
totally know their place.
And that's the thing is, like, they know that because of the fact that people are not going to listen to them, they say, hey, you know what, I'm going to respect them and show them, hey, in order to get respect, let me show you respect. Talk to us. And then it doesn't happen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's...
Yeah, I believe in that. And just, you know, doing what you can, working hard, and not really feeding into any of that. When you hear a conversation like that, whether it be at a water cooler during your break or having a casual conversation in the workplace, I usually just turn away from it because I'm like, you're just going to talk shit about me and I'm right here.
Yeah.
I am right here. So I either just shut it down or I kick in my generational diversity training and treat them as an equal. Like, you know, which one do you want? Do you want to start something or do you want me to treat you the same way you're treating me?
I just think that's hilarious, though. Generational diversity training,
Yes.
that's just hilarious.
Oh my
overall.
God.
Thank you, The Office, for teaching me what that was.
Oh my God.
That's right. So it's basically the last season when they bring in Jim Jr.
Yes.
So again, this is what people would consider an opinion piece when it comes to the articles, and also, again, this is the podcast that it is going to be our thoughts, experiences, and opinions. If you're somebody who's an older generation, or maybe somebody's a younger generation, you know, let us know your thoughts. As always, our emails are open on Twitter. You can send us the information on there as well. They're always linked at the bottom. You can do so.
I'm active on Twitter now.
We're always more than happy to talk this out because it's something
As
that
of this morning.
is something that actually pertains to us. So, as you can see, we're a little bit more opinionated and maybe more energetic about this conversation because it's something that we experienced. So, with that said, I think let's go move on. What's the next topic, Angie?
Oh, we're hitting. Whose turn is it?
All right. So, what's the next topic, Angie?
Have you ever had anything stolen from you before?
Have you ever had anything stolen from you?
Whether it's a good, a man, money,
Your virginity?
your virginity, your kiss.
Your first kiss.
That's bad.
All right. Let's start off with Liz. Liz, have you ever had anything stolen or
My pennies.
what?
Your panties or your pennies?
No. Pennies, like money.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
For those of you who are not in the United States, for those of you guys who are not in the United States, yes, the U.S. of A. still uses pennies. They are equal to 1 cent,
But they're like cost more to make.
but they cost more to make because of the fact that they're copper. Now, I only say that because a lot of people who are not in the U.S. of A. forget that 1 cent still exists. I've had that and I've seen that, so just wanted to give you guys a small tidbit.
I love pennies.
Yeah.
I sympathize in a way.
No, pennies still. I mean, when I used to do, I guess I was a cashier. I'd be like, oh, they used to tell me keep the change. I used to have a little jar on the side. Just put the change in there. Take the little jar. Those are my tips.
Oh my God.
We used to make money off of that. Did they get mad at us? No. So why not?
Yeah, if you could take it, might as well.
Might as well. They tell me to keep it. I kept it. No, I was younger, like probably 7, 8 years old, and my mom had a friend whose little girl used to steal a lot of stuff.
What the? She was like a little kleptomaniac.
Yeah, she's. Oh God, I don't know if she's ever changed. No, and Mama used to let me keep the change every time that I would go to the store, or my uncles, they'd be like, oh, go to the store and buy me a soda and keep the change. So I used to keep it. Well, I was collecting all my change, and it was mostly pennies. This little girl decides to go into my room that I shared with others and steal my fucking bag of pennies. I just say pennies because they were mostly pennies. And she tried to steal it, but how do you steal a bag full of change?
Wait, how old was she?
We're the same age.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The only thing I think about now is Family Guy when he eats the change and he hears the change as he walks.
That's bad.
I'm like, girl? Yeah. So that happened. I got my pennies stolen, and it caused me pain.
Aww.
Yeah.
Don't worry, babe. I'll give you all the pennies you want.
Yay.
All my pennies are your pennies, babe.
I'll give you 100.
I'll give you 100 pennies because you're special.
Have I ever
How
heard
about you?
anything stolen? Yes, I've been robbed and I've had stuff stolen. So I don't know if it's like the same structure. Cause
Same thing, man.
Because sometimes something's stolen, sometimes you don't see it, and then robbed, of course, is right in person. So, yeah, when I was younger, I'll tell the first time I got robbed, I was about 12, 13 at the time. I don't remember. Anyway, I was going to the corner store to get some, some fries and some soda, as you do as a little kid when your parents are asleep, and they're like, they work hard, so they're like, hey, just feed yourself. So I had cash on me, and I wanted to get some stuff, and then I went. And I saw, I went in there as normal. I knew everybody in there, except that there was this kid in there that I didn't know. But I thought, hey, you just come in and get chips and soda like I am. So I went and ordered some fries. I got a, little Coca-Cola, the Mexican one with, the glass one. I was walking back through the alley to my house, whatever, mind you. And then he comes out of nowhere. He's like, hey, how's it going? And I was like, hey, what's up? And he's like, do you know blah blah blah? And I'm like, no, I'm just going home, dude. And he's like, okay. And then he comes up behind me and he just grabs me by the neck. And he's older than me. I don't know how old he's older than me because he's older and tall. You can tell. And he just grabs me by the neck. He's like, all right, give me money. And I was like, what the hell? He's like, yeah, it's a pocket check.
It's a routine here. Please get used to it.
Like, if you guys don't know, if you guys don't know what the term pocket check means, it's literally pull out everything in your pocket. Let me see what you have. Like, I'm gonna take it. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm a little kid and I'm like, I don't have anything. He's like, pull out your pockets. I only had $2 on me at the time, because that was the change that was left after I bought the stuff. And I'm just like, I only have, fine. And I took out my $2 and I'm like, I have $2 and I have the soda and the fries. And I'm like, you gonna take everything? He's like, nah, I'll let you eat your fries and your soda. I'm being nice today. And he just took my $2 and ran. And I'm just like, fuck, man. The one time I want the cholos who are always hanging out in the corner to be outside the one time they're not outside. Like, these are cholos are, like, of course, like I said, the gang members and stuff like that that used to hang around where I live. And I know if they would have seen that, they would have been like, yo, leave the little homie alone, or like, blah, blah, blah. But this is the one day they're not outside. Like, are you kidding me?
They were probably in on it.
No, man. No, I doubt it. Because I've never seen this kid around the neighborhood. So, I mean, if he was somebody who was, like, being, like, trained or molded to be in there, I would have known him because I would have seen him around and stuff like that. And they would have told him to leave me alone. Because anybody that lives around the neighborhood, they always said, hey, they live around the neighborhood, leave them alone, respect them, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. As long as we didn't snitch or say anything about, everything that they did, which I don't know anything about. So he ended up getting robbed, and, like, I was more mad at the fact that the gangsters were not out there, and because I know they would have stopped them, than I was at the fact that I got robbed. Because I was like, are you kidding me, dude? Like, you guys are always here. But the one time.
$2 too.
Yeah, and it was $2 Luckily enough, he didn't take my food. Thank God, because I was hungry. But, at that moment, I walked into my room and I was like, eating. And then my dad, like, walked out. He's like, what the hell's wrong with you? He's like, what do you mean? He's like, because you're quiet. We were playing video games or whatever, watching a movie. You're just eating in silence. But because I was pissed. I was like,
eating your emotions.
I was eating with my emotions, man, because I was again pissed that nobody was there to help me when there no normally people out there. And again, $2 Like I was more pissed at the fact that it happened so close to my house.
Yeah.
Than all this shit. But
hey, but back then chips were for $1. That would have been 8 bags of chips right there.
yeah.
Shit.
So I mean, but I did learn after that never to walk through the alley. Just go through the street where people can see you. There's more likely somebody gonna be there.
Yeah.
Even if they're on the street than through the alley where you're by yourself. So
Yeah.
again, luckily nothing worse in that situation happened to me. Than that. It could have been a lot worse. He could have like fucking beat me with the fucking bottle for God's sakes or something.
Yeah.
Like he could have been a crazy ass motherfucker, or he could have been $2 like, yo, give me your shit, or to give me your shoes or whatever, Because there's been points where I've had people like, yo, what size are your shoes? And I'm like, I know how this works. Oh, this is my size. Like, don't trip. Like, Like I've seen people get their shoes stolen on the freaking metro.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy.
I've seen somebody leave a shoe behind because they got their bag stolen and she ran after the
Oh my god.
And that lady's called my aunt.
Oh man. Yeah, my mom told me too. Like one time when she was younger, like they tried to steal her purse, and that's why she doesn't like wearing like the big purses.
Yeah.
Like just over the shoulder. She wears like the
crossbody?
like, the crossbody ones and stuff like that because they tried to steal her purse when she was younger, when she was coming home from work. So yeah, that's the one time I was robbed when I was little. Other times I've been robbed at gunpoint from work. I used to work at a GameStop. I was a manager, and then I got robbed around the holidays. That GameStop was known to be robbed, but the thing is they hadn't robbed it like in 2-3 years, so everybody thought it was coming down. And the thing that I did when I used to work at that GameStop as a manager is I was friends with everybody around the neighborhood. Like people would come by and I would tell them like the truth, like yo, stuff is gonna go on sale this time, or you should wait for it, blah blah blah. Because everybody there, it was around the hood, like everybody knows. Not everybody has money, so I would be like, dude, don't buy this right now. Like, wait a little bit, and then you'll get it cheaper. Or, hey, this game fucking sucks. Don't waste $60 on it because you're gonna fucking hate yourself. You're gonna hate me for selling it to you. I was telling the truth. So again, I knew the gangsters and stuff like that, and they were like, they would come in and they would be like, yo, can we play this game? And I'm like, yeah, it's on the fucking thing already. You can go play it. And they just kick back, play. They wouldn't do anything to the store. They wouldn't destroy it. They wouldn't do anything like to me or whatever. And they knew that to respect the place because I wouldn't fuck with them.
Yeah.
And then when I got robbed, I didn't recognize these people. So when I told them, like, people the next day, you're like, why were you guys closed on such and such time and such day? And I was like, oh, we got robbed or whatever. They're like, oh, shit, little homie, like, who was it? Like, da, da, da. And I was like, oh, you guys, like, it's nothing you guys that I see. Because they thought, hey, was it one of us or whatever? Yeah. Like, we'll fuck them up. Like, the whole same thing again. Show respect, get respect kind of thing. And this is how it works in the hood. Like, you don't fuck with them. There's always a bad apple. But most of the time, the OGs are what they call the original gangsters, or the older generation of gangsters or cholos. They'll be like, we won't fuck with you if you don't fuck with us. Like the same shit. Or they'll be like, oh, you cool, little homie. Like we'll go with respect. And then they came. They're like, yo, what happened? You got robbed. Like who did it? Like like let us know. We'll fuck them up. We'll find them. Blah blah blah. But they didn't know who they was. It was probably somebody visiting for the holidays or whatever, because it was around the holiday time. And then I got robbed at gunpoint. And yeah, my wife had her car stolen too, so that's happened.
Damn.
That was fun. When we found it, the battery was missing, the stereo was missing, but my high heels were still in the back.
Oh my god. Was it even like a new car or what?
No. I don't want a new car around where I live.
God.
Or the distance that I drive. I would feel so bad to put that much mileage in a car.
Yeah. Damn.
How about you, Angie?
I got a long fucking list of shits that's stolen from me. It's like probably hitting like the 100,000s. No, I'm just playing.
Shit, Angie, what you gonna hear then, girl?
No, stuff got stolen from me a couple times when I was in high school. Mainly my phone, my camera. I had a digital camera.
Oh, I remember that shit.
That?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, that happened twice.
Wow, I didn't know that.
The first time was at the pool. We were training, and everyone leaves their stuff out there in the changing room.
Now, this is the reason we leave our stuff out there is because we didn't really have lockers, and the lockers that were there did not lock. They're not closed.
Yeah, the lockers there were not lockers. They were just taking up space.
It's like when you go to the bathroom and there's no stall door. That's exactly the same thing with the lockers.
Yeah, so we would leave our stuff there, and one day, it was just a normal day. Like, everything was fine. Everything was normal. The only thing that was different was that our coach wasn't there that day, but we still showed up for practice for swimming. And that day, after we finished swimming, we all went back to our to go change, and little by little, everyone's like, "Hey, have you seen this?" And then the girl next to them like, "Nah, but have you seen this?" Like, "Oh no!" And then I looked at my purse and I was like, "Nobody fucking leaves." And everybody like looked at me like, "This bitch? What the fuck?" And I was like, "Nobody fucking leave until you guys give me my fucking camera and my wallet back. Oh, and my iPod."
Damn.
Oh shit.
And that's when everyone was like, "You're not the only one. Like, we all have shit missing." So apparently, while we were training, I guess because our coach wasn't there, so normal faces weren't there, people took advantage, went into the changing room while we were all busy swimming laps, and came up on all of the shit that was in there. So, I mean, I wasn't the only one, but it was...
Yeah, it still hurts.
It still hurt. I was so fucking pissed. And then after that, I got my camera stolen at homecoming, and I went with you. It was me and Alexis, and then my friend Claudia. Claudia gave me the okay to shout her out. Shout out to Claudia.
Pay, motherfucker. No free shit. The fuck? We live in the hood.
And my camera got stolen then, and that was along with our shoes under the table and the camera, but the camera got stolen. Thank God they didn't take my shoes, although those shoes were pretty. And after that happened, I was mad, I was just pissed, because I'm like, why the fuck do people, like, steal shit? Like, at that point, yeah, my dad was still buying me these things, but I appreciate the fact that my dad was able to buy me these things. Yeah. You know, that's not everyone can do that, and that's what pissed me off. I'm like, you fucking hating because your parents can't afford shit? That's not my problem.
Yeah.
That is not my problem. And that's always been my shit about people that steal things. I don't get it, because it's like, work for it. We all do.
Like, and that's the worst thing. Like, okay, like, one of my favorite fictional characters is Robin Hood. Mm-hmm. See, it's not the fact that he's stealing from the rich and giving to the poor. Like, yeah, that's, I guess, you know, it makes sense, blah, blah, blah. But no, it's the fact that he can easily steal from the poor and just make their life even worse.
Yeah.
And he can steal from the rich and not give it to the poor. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, he knows that the poor are working for it and they can barely survive what they have.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's the same thing here. Like, yes, we get it. You're struggling. But guess what? We're struggling too.
Yeah.
Like, it's not just you. It might not seem like it because everybody has different lifestyles. Everybody has different up and comings. But just stealing and taking stuff from others is no matter how rich or how poor they are, doesn't make
it's like the
sense,
ultimate petty shit.
And it shouldn't be done because, again, everybody works for it. Yeah, maybe they're richer, but guess what? Maybe they couldn't. Maybe they
worked hard and like overtime shifts, everything.
Yeah, maybe their parents buy them all these watches and stuff. Like, maybe what they wanted was that car, and they worked hard for that car, and that car gets stolen. Or maybe their parents buy them shoes all the time, but what they wanted was this watch, and what they wanted was electronic. It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you know, everybody works for it, but the fact that people choose not to work for it and choose to steal is really aggravating, because not only do you take stuff from people, but you also, emotionally, you always traumatize people, no matter what.
Yep.
Because that's when people start looking on their backs. That's when people stop trusting people, and that's when shit gets fucked up. And that's for me is what doesn't make sense. And that's why you shouldn't, as a millennial, fucking steal.
Don't steal if you're a millennial.
Don't steal if you're a millennial. If you're a baby boomer, give my fucking social security back. God damn it. Baby boomers are stealing our social security. That's all I want to say in this topic, okay?
That's what's getting stolen from us at this point. Almost at gunpoint.
Seriously. I mean, like, honestly, it's the truth. But yeah, I mean, Luis, have you ever had anything stolen?
Can you guys believe it? But not really.
No.
No, never. No,
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Or maybe you forgot it existed.
Or maybe... No, because I grew up just sharing a lot of shit.
So you forgot it existed then?
Yeah, because I just didn't care.
Yeah. I've had that where I let somebody share something, like let somebody borrow something, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I let you borrow that one thing. I never got it back. Oh, well.
But like, yeah, like I don't get attached.
But you don't consider it stolen though. You consider it like, oh well, it's not with me anymore. But I know where it's at. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, like fucking Ivan has something from you from like high school, beginning of high school, and I'm like, I don't need it though. Yeah. And I asked him, hey, do you still have that? He's like, yeah, it's right here. If you ever want it back, I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't need it back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like my friends in TJ, they have like movies of mine still.
Oh yeah, they do.
Like, and I'm like, okay, well I know where they're at. They're all the way the fuck over there.
Yeah.
So, nah. But like stolen, like someone breaking into my car or house or apartment, nah. Or locker or even backpacks. I would just leave them anywhere.
Yeah.
Nah.
No, for me, it's there's another story about stolen stuff. Because you know Luis has been fortunate enough to steal stuff, but this story is not about us getting something stolen from the car. It's about a stolen stuff from a car that we were around the area. Now, let me explain that. It's kind of
Were
hard
you
to
like
explain.
guilty by proximity?
No. We were never guilty by association or proximity. Either of that. Never guilty, guys. So we went to Target, and we used to have an old red van back in the day. Me and my dad went to Target. You know, going to Target, and then we're coming outside, and then we say, hey, where did we park? Oh, yeah, there's our van. Let's go back in, and we get inside the van. And then my dad says, oh, shit, they've stolen our stuff. But then we realized, hey, this doesn't look like our seats.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Then my dad says, this isn't our van.
Oh, God.
So then I'm like, how the hell? He's like, yeah, the key opened it, but this isn't our van. So then we get out, we check the license plate. I'm like, oh shit, this is not our van, but it looks exactly the same. And then we realized that our van was 2 rows down. So then we quickly closed the door and quickly start walking to our van. And then we get inside, we're like, fucking go. And we take off. And we never, ever figured out what happened to that van. But that wasn't ours.
That happened to my mom.
But they got stolen. Of course.
That happened to my mom.
What? What happened? That have same thing?
Like, she got into a different... this is back when we used to have this... this blue Tahoe. She was at the grocery store and she went back to the blue Tahoe and she got in the car and she was like, the fuck, the seat feels weird, the mirrors are weird. And she's like, what the hell? And then she realized, like, what the fuck? I think she even had already loaded it too.
Oh shit. No, we only had like a bag that I was carrying when we went to Target, so we didn't really load it.
No, man.
Yeah.
That happened to her once. I remember that.
That's crazy, dude. So
But I mean, I've had people break into my house and take things.
That's crazy.
That sucked. That really sucked. That happened a couple years ago, and that there went a lot of stuff. Like the majority of my quinceañera jewelry, my PlayStation 3, the first like pair of Ray-Bans I ever bought that were like, I worked hard for those fucking. That was like my first big purchase.
Yeah.
Like starting in college and getting my own job, and a bunch of other shit. And then that was just me. My mom and my dad had shit stolen from them. My brother had shit stolen from him. They like ransacked the house and took a TV or two. I don't remember.
Which is crazy because to take a TV like that.
They had time. They had time.
Yeah, but still, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I mean it's not anyone. It is someone's fault. You know, the people who do it. But at the same time, it's like, well, why wasn't the door closed? You know, it's one of those. That shit fucking pissed me off. To this day, I'm like, oh, fucking God damn it.
Yeah, because it sucks. It's like,
Yeah.
Getting 1 or 2 things stolen from you is one thing. But
yeah, the majority of the stuff they took from me was stuff that I had already, like, that's my stuff. That's what I paid for. It's me.
And then, like, getting home and then everything is ransacked. You just, it doesn't feel like home.
Oh, and I wasn't here either, too. I was in Mexico when this happened.
Oh,
so imagine, like, being far out and, like, not knowing what the fuck happened to all your shit. Oh, I fucking hated it. And then coming back home, too, was fucking weird. Like, I didn't feel like I was at home.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like home.
I was like, someone's been here and it's not me.
That's
and they stole a list of errands.
What?
Of all things, I was like, really? Like,
I guess they wanted to do the same
there was,
errands you
yeah,
had.
I was like, there was another jewelry box in this other drawer if you would have fucking opened it. Like, but thanks for taking my list of errands. Fuck.
See, that's how I feel whenever I go to like my desk and my wife moves stuff around to clean. I was like, what the fuck, man? Somebody stole my shit. Oh no, she just moved it.
I just cleaned it up a little.
I was like, babe, why you move my shit? It was dirty. No, it's organized chaos. I know where everything is at, okay?
Oh my God.
Specifically where everything is at. So.
I remember I kind of want to say the story out because it reminds me of my mom trying to be the nice person. She tried to bust up Mother Teresa and help somebody that's homeless shower, change, and eat, and then send them off their way. Mm-hmm. According to the man, he just came back from Mexico and just wanted, see if my mom could help him out with food or something. My mom felt nice. You know what? Come in, shower, change. It was a small apartment. You can't really get lost or do anything there. So, shower, change. I'll feed you frijoles, and then you'll be off on your way. She did that. The man left, and my sister's husband gets home. Goes to the bathroom. He has to shave. Turns out the man took out with his electrical shaver.
Oh my
I
god.
told my mom, you help this man that you don't know off the streets, and he still steals from you.
That's shady.
I'm like, oh, jeez.
The ultimate shade.
The ultimate shade. You help out somebody in need, and they take from you.
This is when I like strangers coming to my door and knocking on my
Yeah.
door. I don't know. I don't need you to be knocking on my door. Thanks.
I pay my rent.
You weren't invited?
You're not-
There's no need for you to
Like
be
when
my door.
Jehovah's Witness come and knock on the door, I
yeah.
I tell them no thank you and I close the door.
I just let them keep knocking on the door even though I'm right here.
No, I don't. I don't like being rude to people. So like, it
I
sounds
do.
like I'm being rude,
I love it.
but I don't because I'm just like they come knocking on my door and I'm just like no thank you and I close. But
He doesn't
before-
like being rude,
before
but
they-
he'll shut the door.
I
for
know. I'm like, whatever.
I said no thank you. It's like when somebody's selling queso and elotes. I'm like oh no gracias. I was like ¿quieren queso? Like, I'm alright. Thanks. No gracias.
Matias coming from Tijuana with queso.
No gracias, señora.
Buying from you.
And then I close the door.
Oh,
so.
jeez.
That's what it was. So I mean, if you guys have ever had anything stolen from you guys or anything of that nature, let us know.
Oh, my recyclables.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Go back. Go back to day one.
The first podcast started. That's the reason she got the dog because her recyclables got stolen.
Yeah.
Holy shit! That's why we put that in there in the first place.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about it. If you guys want to hear that story, how she got her dog and how she hated it at first, and then
And now how
realized-
he has like the fanciest bed in the world.
yeah, motherfucker has a better bed than me. Go back to the first podcast, but as always, guys, if you guys have anything stolen, anything, if you've ever stolen anything, don't let us know because then we won't like you. No, if you guys have ever had anything stolen, anything like that, let us know. As always, write in topics and all that. But here ends the segment, and here ends the podcast. So I always like to let you guys know where they can find the lovely people here at the Lexicon podcast. So we're gonna go ahead and start with Luis.
You guys can find me on Snapchat, LuisC2, LuisItwo, or on Instagram, the same, LuisC2.
Oh, and now I'm gonna start being active on Twitter, just for the fuck of it. I'll tell you what movies to go watch and not watch. At Angie_Delish, DEELISH, Angie Delish.
Liz.
You can find me on Snapchat. It's LIZZ_TheBiz. So as Liz_TheBiz, double Z in the beginning, double Z in the end. You guys, this is not spam. I have been told that it looks like spam. It's not. Go ahead.
It does.
Follow. Follow my link. I'll be a little more personal there.
Did Instagram notify you?
No,
Like
that-
you're being investigated for spam.
Now the Instagram looks like spam because she's been promoting the podcast so much. So don't worry.
I
about it,
know.
guys. Just see that it's a Lexicon podcast, and that's actually her. Is that the only place on Instagram?
That's the only active place that I am in. Yes, Snapchat. I wish I could be active, but it's kind of hard.
And as always, guys, you can find me on Twitter at exclusively_Lex. You can find my website, exclusivelylex.com, where you can find all my reviews, let's plays, and of course the podcast being set up there. Angie actually made a good thing talking about her Twitter reviewing movies. We might do a review of movies and stuff like that for the podcast and be like a separate thing that we upload.
Yeah.
Again, we'll talk about that whenever we have time.
It's Oscar season. We should do an Oscar season podcast.
We can. We definitely can do an Oscar season podcast. We
Yeah,
might
these
start
are good
doing
movies.
reviews and like reacts, as people call, like, hey, how was this movie afterwards? Most likely it's gonna be a review with spoilers, of course, so you guys can always you'll know when the spoilers come. It'll be the reviews in that. So we'll talk about that. But of course, guys, Lexicon Podcast on Twitter, and of course, if you guys want to send us anything on email, lexiconpodcast@gmail.com. And with that, thank you guys so much for listening. We hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Happy Thanksgiving if you guys had it. We'll be trying our best to make sure that this podcast sounds better than this episode. If it sounds really bad, I'm not sure yet. I haven't really checked it.
You
I'm
can always-
afraid. And as always, guys, if you guys want to support us directly, so again, it'll really help us out. We do appreciate it. But of course, it's not necessary. Just go to patreon.com/exclusivelex. You guys can help us out with anything from $1 or more a month, and you guys have different perks so you guys can check out there. And if anything, if you guys are on iTunes, we always appreciate when you guys share it with your friends. Let them know. And of course, if you can, leave a 5-star rating on iTunes, and it'll make it better for us. Here comes the ice cream truck. So we gotta go because we want some ice cream. Thank you guys so much. Have a good one. And thank you for listening. Take care.
I only got $3.